In Buddhist teachings, serenity is not merely a state of mind but also a noble goal everyone should aspire to. Serenity is the tranquility amidst life's upheavals, the light illuminating the mind in the darkness of ignorance. But how can one attain such serenity? It is a journey of releasing the burdens of the mind and living fully in the present moment. The Buddha once taught, the root of suffering is attachment. When we cling to expectations, desires, or even past pains, the mind becomes bound, unable to find freedom. Every worry, regret, or anger is like an invisible chain that ties us down, dimming the innate clarity of our spirit. Serenity comes when we dare to let go, accept reality, and live with a sense of sufficiency. Imagine your mind as a calm lake. When the wind blows, ripples disturb the surface, and it no longer reflects the sky clearly. But when the wind ceases, the water returns to peace, reflecting the sky perfectly. Similarly, when ambition, fear, or anger disturb the soul, we lose sight of our true nature and the beauty of life. Only with a calm mind can we see the truth and appreciate the present. Serenity does not come from owning wealth, power, or fame. In Buddhism, it is a state where the mind is no longer dominated by negative emotions like greed, anger, or ignorance. It is when you are no longer entangled in thoughts about the past or worried about the future but fully live in the tranquility of the present. In Buddhist teachings, the Buddha emphasized that the present is the only moment that truly exists. He once taught, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. Concentrate on the present moment, as it is the only time you are truly alive. However, people are often caught in two extremes, either reminiscing about the past with regret and pain or worrying about an uncertain future. This causes us to miss the opportunity to cherish the simple and profound values of the present moment. The art of living in the present is not just a Buddhist lesson but also a practical method for freeing the soul from suffering, bringing true serenity and happiness. The present is the foundation of all experiences. Every moment we live is built upon the current one. If the mind is drawn into the past or future, we cannot fully feel the vibrancy of the now. The past is only a memory, the future a vague projection, while the present is where life actually happens. The Buddha used the image of fire to describe the transient and impermanent nature of all things. A flame burns only when conditions, wood, wind, and ignition, are present. When any of these elements disappear, the flame is extinguished. Similarly, the present moment arises from countless conditions. That is why we must cherish and live fully in each moment, as it will never return once it passes. Ask yourself, how many moments in a day do you truly pay attention to what is happening? Are most of your hours consumed with thoughts about work, unfinished goals, or future problems? If the answer is yes, it means you are missing the most precious gift, the present. Mindfulness is the art of placing complete attention on the present moment without being distracted by other thoughts. In Buddhist teachings, mindfulness is considered a practical path to freeing the mind from attachments and restlessness. Practicing mindfulness does not require you to change your entire lifestyle, but rather to bring attention to everyday activities. When eating, notice the taste, color, and texture of the food. When walking, listen to your footsteps, feel your breath, and sense the movement of your body. These seemingly small things form the foundation of peace and happiness. The Buddha once said, like a city gatekeeper who is always alert to what passes, the mindful practitioner must always observe and understand their thoughts and actions. By practicing mindfulness, you learn to master your mind and prevent it from being swept away by futile thoughts. When your mind connects with the present, you will notice several benefits. Reduced anxiety and stress. Focusing on the present frees the mind from the grip of past and future worries. Fears and anxieties dissipate, replaced by tranquility. Appreciation of life's beauty, small things, sunlight, birdsong, or a smile, become clearer and more meaningful when you truly pay attention. Improved relationships, being fully present in conversations enables you to listen deeply, understand, and empathize, fostering genuine and stronger connections. Enhanced focus, mindfulness improves productivity by eliminating distractions caused by unnecessary thoughts. Practical steps to living in the present. Exercise 1. Mindful breathing. Breathing is the bridge between the body and the mind. When you focus on your breath, you can feel the vitality flowing through each moment. Dedicate a few minutes each day to deep breathing, focusing on each inhale and exhale. Whenever your mind drifts, gently guide it back to your breath. Exercise 2. Observing thoughts. The Buddha once said, "Observe your thoughts as you would watch clouds passing across the sky. They come and go, but the sky remains clear." Practice observing your thoughts without judgment. This will help you realize that worries and emotions are temporary and do not define who you truly are. Exercise 3. Practicing gratitude. Each day, write down 3 things you are grateful for. It could be a delicious meal, encouragement from a loved one, or simply the warmth of sunlight streaming through a window. Gratitude nurtures positivity and contentment with the present moment. Exercise 4. Disconnect from technology. Spend at least 30 minutes a day away from phones, computers, and other digital devices. Instead, take a walk, read a book, or simply meditate. This allows you to reconnect with yourself and the world around you. A story of mindfulness, the falling leaf. A monk often meditated under an ancient tree. One day, a disciple came and asked, "Master, how can I live a happier life?" The monk remained silent and pointed to a falling leaf. Puzzled, the disciple asked, "What do you mean by the falling leaf?" The monk replied, "The leaf lets go of the branch to return to the earth. It does not regret the past nor worry about the future. It simply falls, merging with the flow of nature." Humans, too, can find true happiness when they live fully in the present, without regrets or attachments. This story reminds us that happiness does not lie in what has passed or what is yet to come. It lies in how we live in the present, like the falling leaf, gracefully and peacefully. Mindfulness isn't limited to meditation, it can be integrated into everyday activities. Eating, choose slowly and savor the flavors and textures of your food. Mindful eating helps you appreciate the nourishment and enjoy meals fully. Conversations, listen attentively without distractions. Focus on understanding and empathizing with the other person. Working, approach each task with full concentration rather than letting your mind wander to other responsibilities. Living in the present is not an easy feat, as the human mind often clings to worries and expectations. However, with consistent mindfulness practice, even small steps can lead to significant transformations. You will discover that peace is not a distant destination but a state always accessible within your heart. In this journey of seeking serenity, learning to live in the present is an essential milestone. The next section will explore how to let go of the past, free the mind from unnecessary burdens, and make room for new and positive experiences in life. The past is unchangeable, yet it holds immense power over our emotions and lives. Painful memories, unhealed wounds, or even past successes can become burdens if we fail to let them go. The Buddha once said, "Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned." Letting go of the past doesn't mean forgetting it, but rather accepting what happened, learning from it, and releasing it with a gentle heart. This is how you free yourself from the cycle of suffering and find true peace within. The past doesn't hold us captive, we cling to it ourselves. We often carry regrets over missed opportunities, anger over injustices, or guilt for mistakes made. These emotions are like a heavy backpack we carry on every journey of life. The Buddha taught, a person dwelling on the past is like someone who has ceased to live. When your mind is trapped in what has already passed, you cannot fully engage with the present, and life becomes unbalanced. Another reason letting go is difficult is our tendency to identify ourselves with the past. We believe that what happened defines who we are, and letting go feels like losing a part of ourselves. However, the truth is, you are not your past experiences. You are defined by how you choose to confront and rise above them. Letting go does not mean denying the past, but rather acknowledging it with clarity and learning to accept it. It is the realization that the past no longer controls you, and you have the power to choose how to respond to it. Steps to letting go of the past. Step 1. Acknowledge your feelings. Take time to face the emotions within you. Don't suppress or avoid them, as doing so only strengthens their hold. Admit to yourself that you are hurt, that you have been carrying pain. This acceptance is the first step toward release. Step 2. Find the lessons. Every experience, whether positive or negative, carries a valuable lesson. Look at the past not to blame yourself, but to learn from it. When you can uncover the meaning behind what happened, you will find it easier to accept and let it go. Step 3. Write it down and let it go. A practical method is to write down what causes you pain, your emotions, memories, or unresolved relationships. Then, symbolically release them by tearing or burning the paper. This act represents the decision to free yourself from these burdens. Step 4. Practice meditation. Meditation is a powerful tool for releasing negative thoughts. As you meditate, focus on your breath and observe your thoughts as they arise and fade, like clouds drifting across the sky. This practice reminds you that these thoughts are not you and cannot control you. A lesson from the Buddha, letting go of the woman at the river. One of the most well-known Buddhist stories involves two monks traveling together. They came across a river where a woman struggled to cross. One monk carried her across, setting her down on the other side before continuing his journey. Hours later, the second monk asked, "Why did you carry that woman? We are monks and should avoid such contact." The first monk replied, "I set her down at the river, why are you still carrying her?" This story reminds us that the burdens we carry are often those we refuse to release. Ask yourself, what are you holding on to that no longer serves you? Why not let it go? There was once a man who constantly felt unhappy and burdened. He sought advice from a monk, who handed him a bag of stones and asked him to carry it everywhere. A week later, the man returned, complaining about the heavy load. The monk smiled and said, "These stones are like your regrets and anger. If you don't let them go, they will weigh you down forever." The man realized that his unhappiness was not caused by external circumstances but by his own inability to release the weight of his emotions. From then on, he began to practice letting go and felt lighter each day. When you learn to release the past, your life transforms in several ways. A lighter soul, negative emotions no longer weigh you down, allowing peace to take their place. Living fully in the present, you are no longer anchored to the past and can enjoy the present moment more deeply. Opening up to new opportunities, by freeing yourself from old attachments. You create space for positive experiences and growth. Letting go of the past doesn't mean shirking responsibility or forgetting the lessons it taught. It is a conscious choice to live with awareness, unburdened by what you cannot change. Start with small steps, reminding yourself each day that the past is behind you, and each new moment is an opportunity for growth and renewal. In the next section, we will explore how to nurture loving and compassionate relationships, fostering harmony with those around you without being hurt by minor conflicts. Stay with us as we continue to uncover profound lessons from Buddhist teachings. Family is the cradle of love, where each person is born and raised with unconditional care and affection. In Buddhism, family is not merely a biological relationship but a profound karmic connection formed over many lifetimes. Filial piety, therefore, is not only an ethical responsibility but also a spiritual practice that helps one cultivate compassion and achieve inner peace. The Buddha taught, parents are the living Buddhas in every household. Honoring and respecting them is one of the most complete ways to practice kindness and gratitude. This teaching reminds us that filial piety is more than a duty, it is a way to nurture love and sow seeds of virtue in our lives. In Buddhist thought, family is not just where we are born but also the result of deep karmic ties. Every member of a family represents a karmic connection, reflecting causes and effects from past lives. Therefore, interactions within a family are not merely social but also an opportunity to practice the laws of karma. Parents provide not only physical life but also early lessons in morality and humanity. In the Anguttara Nikaya, the numerical discourses, the Buddha ranked parents among the greatest teachers because of their sacrifices in nurturing and protecting their children throughout life. Ask yourself, what is more noble than the unconditional love that parents offer? When we make mistakes, they do not abandon us. When we succeed, they are the happiest. These gestures, whether grand or small, are gifts that only parents can give. Filial piety in Buddhism extends beyond providing material care for parents. It encompasses respect, gratitude, and heartfelt love. The Buddha emphasized that even if children carry their parents on their backs for a lifetime, they cannot repay the debt of their upbringing. This statement doesn't imply that filial piety is unattainable but underscores its importance in thought, word, and deed. Filial piety should not be postponed until parents grow old. It should manifest in everyday moments, a caring question, a shared meal, or simply listening to their stories. These small actions express sincere gratitude. In modern life, many people are caught up in the whirlwind of work and personal responsibilities, often forgetting the core values of family. Distance, busyness, or even minor conflicts can create unintentional gaps between parents and children. The Buddha taught that no relationship is free from conflict. Instead of letting these differences create rifts, we should view them as opportunities to practice forgiveness and compassion. Parents do not seek extravagant gifts or flowery words. They simply desire your presence, your time, and your attention. Sit with your parents, listen to their stories. Every word carries love and care for you. Remember, their health becomes more fragile as they age. Ensuring they feel cherished and cared for, regardless of their years, is the greatest expression of love. Do not hesitate to say, "Thank you," to your parents. A simple, heartfelt acknowledgement can bring immense joy to them. Expressing gratitude is not just an act of filial piety, it's also a way to strengthen the bond between you and your parents. If unresolved conflicts linger, face them with compassion. Instead of blame, seek understanding and prioritize love above all. The Buddha taught, compassion is the medicine that heals all wounds. A story of awakening, a son's regret. A busy man believed that sending money home every month was enough to show his gratitude. One day, he learned that his mother had fallen gravely ill. Rushing home, he found his father sitting quietly by her side, weary but full of love. His mother smiled faintly and said, "I don't need the money you send. I only need to see you. Every time you come home, I feel stronger." Her words awakened him. He realized that it wasn't material wealth his parents sought but his time and affection. From that day forward, he prioritized his family, sharing meals, and creating memories with them. He discovered that these simple moments were the true essence of filial piety. Benefits of filial piety. Inner peace. Fulfilling your duty to your parents alleviates guilt and regret later in life. Stronger family bonds. Filial piety inspires harmony and mutual respect within the family. Cultivation of good karma. According to the law of karma, acts of filial piety bring blessings and positive energy into one's life. Family is where every journey begins and ends. Filial piety is not just a responsibility but a path to cultivating love and serenity in the soul. Begin with small actions, a kind word, a home-cooked meal, or simply spending time together. These gestures not only bring joy to your parents but also help you discover the deeper meaning of life. In the next section, we will explore how to build relationships filled with compassion and understanding, creating harmony with others while protecting yourself from unnecessary conflicts. Join us as we continue to uncover the profound values of life through Buddhist teachings. In Buddhism, relationships are rooted in the concept of karmic bonds, Nan Duyen, which explain the interconnectedness between people and the world. Every relationship we experience, whether with family, friends, or romantic partners, is the result of past actions, karma, that have accumulated over lifetimes. This profound connection teaches us to embrace love, forgiveness, and understanding, rather than letting resentment or unrealistic expectations cloud our hearts. The Buddha taught, no encounter is accidental, everyone who crosses our path brings a lesson. By understanding this, we can approach relationships with gratitude and compassion, accepting differences instead of allowing anger or disappointment to overshadow our kindness. In Buddhism, karma is the principle that actions, both positive and negative, shape our current experiences. Relationships are no exception. The people in our lives appear due to karmic bonds that have formed over time. For instance, someone might enter your life to help you grow, while another may teach you forgiveness or patience through challenges. Reflect on your connections. Why do you meet certain people? Why do you love some while struggling with others? These experiences are not random but manifestations of karma. Understanding this helps us to value relationships, both joyful and difficult, as opportunities for growth. The Buddha once said, "Everyone has a bond with us. But its depth and duration depend on how we treat one another." Viewing relationships as lessons rather than entitlements helps us approach them with gratitude and a willingness to grow. Compassion is at the heart of all meaningful connections. It allows us to accept others as they are and to let go of judgments or expectations. Every individual carries unique challenges and stories, which may not always align with our own. The Buddha taught, look at others with compassion, for everyone faces their own struggles. Forgiveness is not an act for others but a gift for yourself. Holding on to anger is like carrying a burden that weighs you down. To forgive does not mean forgetting or condoning harm but choosing to release the emotional weight of resentment. This frees your heart and mind to focus on positive growth. Relationships often become strained when we impose unrealistic expectations on others. Remember, no one can fully meet every expectation. Love with freedom, respect without control, and you'll find harmony in your connections. Compassionate relationships are built on mutual understanding. Listen with empathy, and approach conflicts with patience and kindness. By seeking to understand rather than blame, you nurture trust and deepen bonds. A monk had a neighbor who constantly caused trouble. Despite the monk's calm demeanor, the neighbor frequently disrupted his peace. One day, a disciple asked, "Master, why do you remain patient with this person, even though they make life difficult for you?" The monk smiled and replied, "Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and hoping the other person will die. Instead, I choose compassion because it brings me peace. This story illustrates how compassion not only resolves conflict but also protects your inner tranquility. Benefits of compassionate relationships. Emotional freedom. Letting go of resentment and anger reduces emotional turmoil and promotes peace. Harmonious connections. Compassion strengthens bonds and fosters trust, even in difficult relationships. Personal growth. Understanding and kindness help you develop greater empathy, patience, and resilience. Practical steps to foster compassionate relationships. Practice active listening. Pay full attention to the person speaking. Avoid interrupting or formulating responses in your mind. Empathize with their perspective. Embrace differences. Understand that everyone has unique experiences and traits. Respecting these differences fosters harmony. Express gratitude. Acknowledge the positive aspects of your relationships. Even a small word of thanks can strengthen bonds. Cultivate patience. When conflicts arise, pause before reacting. This allows you to respond with calmness and clarity. Prioritize self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Nurturing self-love equips you to offer greater compassion to others. When you understand that relationships are shaped by karma and maintained through compassion, your interactions will transform. You'll see every connection as an opportunity to grow, forgive, and love unconditionally. By practicing patience and kindness, even the most challenging relationships can become sources of peace and learning. The next section will explore the value of simplicity in life, showing how letting go of material desires and unnecessary complexities can lead to profound inner peace. Join us as we continue this journey toward enlightenment and harmony. In today's fast-paced world, people often find themselves caught in the whirlpool of work, ambition, and societal pressures. These distractions make us lose balance and stray from life's core values. The Buddha taught, the richest person is the one who knows contentment. The philosophy of simple living doesn't mean giving up everything but rather finding peace by letting go of unnecessary attachments and living harmoniously with oneself. This way of life brings not only inner tranquility but also opens the door to wisdom and compassion. Simplicity, according to Buddhist teachings, involves living free from greed, anger, and delusion while appreciating what you already have. Simple living does not equate to poverty or depriving oneself of basic needs but rather living with sufficiency, unburdened by excessive desires. The Buddha taught, what is enough is sufficient, what is sufficient is enough. Simplicity lies in how we perceive and respond to life. Instead of chasing material wealth or societal approval, we focus on spiritual values and the true essence of life. A person living simply understands that happiness does not come from having more but from cherishing what they have. They learn to let go of things that do not bring genuine value and live mindfully in harmony with the present moment. Three main reasons often complicate our lives. Greed, the desire to acquire more and achieve greater things, leads us to pursue endless goals, leaving us feeling perpetually dissatisfied. Anger, negative emotions such as resentment, envy, and dissatisfaction with others disturb our peace. Delusion, misunderstanding the true meaning of life or clinging to fleeting things creates a lack of clarity and direction. The Buddha taught, the richest person is not the one who has the most but the one who is least dependent on what they have. When we focus too much on external achievements, we lose connection with our inner selves and spiritual values. Living simply can transform your life by offering a peaceful mind. Letting go of unnecessary desires creates space for calmness and clarity. Greater presence, simplicity allows you to fully enjoy the present moment, free from needless distractions. Fostering gratitude, when you need less, you are more likely to appreciate the blessings in your life. The Buddha shared a story about a wealthy king who, despite his abundance, was constantly anxious. After meeting the Buddha, the king realized it was his attachment to power and possessions that robbed him of peace. When he learned to let go, he finally experienced true contentment. Contentment is the root of simple living. When you feel satisfied with what you have, you stop being controlled by desires. The Buddha taught, the one who knows contentment is the richest. Ask yourself, what truly matters to you? Are you chasing things that don't bring meaning to your life? When you answer these questions honestly, you will find balance. Look around and identify what is truly necessary. Are you holding on to too many belongings, relationships, or even thoughts that no longer serve you? Letting go is not losing but creating space for meaningful things. Mindfulness helps you discern what genuinely adds value to your life. When you live mindfully, you become more intentional in your choices, fostering simplicity and peace. A Zen monk was once asked why he owned so few possessions. He replied, "I don't need more. What I have is enough to keep me warm, and that makes me happy." This story reminds us that happiness doesn't come from accumulating more but from finding joy in what we already have. Simplicity in daily life. Mindful eating. Savor your meals, appreciating their taste and nourishment. Avoid rushing or multitasking during meals. Intentional spending. Purchase only what you need. Avoid the trap of buying things to impress others or out of impulse. Technology breaks. Dedicate time daily to disconnect from devices and reconnect with nature, family, or yourself. The spiritual benefits of simple living. A clearer mind. By reducing distractions, your mind becomes more focused and peaceful. Stronger self-connection. You gain more time and energy to reflect on your values and purpose. Greater compassion. Free from greed and selfishness, you can focus on loving and helping others. Simple living is not about deprivation but about finding balance. By letting go of unnecessary attachments, practicing contentment, and living mindfully, you can create a life filled with peace and fulfillment. Start with small changes, organize your living space, reduce superficial desires, and focus on what truly matters. In the next section, we will explore effort and self-development, emphasizing how personal growth aligns with Buddhist principles to cultivate wisdom, compassion, and a meaningful life. Self-development is one of the core principles of Buddhism, emphasizing that every individual has the potential to become a better version of themselves through consistent effort. The Buddha taught, work out your own salvation. Do not depend on others. Effort and self-development are not only about improving skills and knowledge but also about cultivating wisdom and compassion, ultimately leading to spiritual awakening. In Buddhism, self-development is not driven by the pursuit of fame or material wealth but by the aspiration to reduce ignorance, overcome suffering, and achieve enlightenment. This process is grounded in three fundamental principles. Self-reliance. No one can walk the path for you. The Buddha said, as a river flows to the sea, so your efforts will lead you to your goal, as long as you do not cease to try. Self-mastery. Growth requires control over emotions, thoughts, and actions. Only by mastering yourself can you live a meaningful life. Serving others. Personal progress must align with benefiting others. By helping your community, you cultivate good karma and a sense of purpose. Self-development does not require drastic measures. It begins with small, consistent steps. The Buddha often spoke of a bird building its nest one twig at a time, illustrating that even tiny efforts accumulate into significant results. Start by improving daily habits. Wake up a little earlier. Read a page of a book, or spend a few minutes meditating before bed. The key is persistence. The Buddha taught, walk as if every step is a practice. By pouring your full focus into each small task, you transform ordinary actions into opportunities for growth. Understanding yourself is the first step toward self-improvement. The Buddha said, "The wise are those who examine themselves daily." Take time to self-reflect through journaling, meditation, or simply sitting in silence. Identify your strengths and weaknesses, and use them as a foundation for growth. Every experience, whether joyous or painful, presents an opportunity to learn. The Buddha taught, there are no failures, only lessons. Embrace difficulties as chances to build resilience and deepen understanding. In Buddhism, personal growth is anchored in two pillars: wisdom, prajna, and compassion, karuna. Wisdom is not just intellectual understanding but the ability to perceive life clearly and make sound decisions. Compassion complements wisdom by encouraging us to act with kindness toward ourselves and others. Developing wisdom, engage in lifelong learning, seek insights from others, and practice meditation to gain deeper awareness. Nurturing compassion, perform small acts of kindness, offer words of encouragement, and participate in activities that benefit your community. A farmer planted bamboo seeds, watering and caring for them every day. After a year, no shoots appeared. Another year passed, still nothing. Yet he continued his efforts. In the 5th year, the bamboo suddenly grew over 30 feet in just a few weeks. This story reminds us that growth often takes time, and effort doesn't always yield immediate results. However, every small act contributes to a strong foundation for future success. The benefits of effort and self-development. Inner peace, gaining control over emotions and thoughts reduces internal turmoil. Increased confidence, developing skills and knowledge empowers you to face challenges. Positive influence, your growth inspires those around you, creating a ripple effect of positivity. Practical steps for self-development. Set small goals, break your aspirations into achievable tasks and celebrate each milestone. Practice mindfulness, focus fully on the present moment, whether you're working, learning, or meditating. Learn continuously, read, attend workshops, or seek mentorship to expand your perspective. Help others, share your time, knowledge, or resources with those in need. Self-development is not a destination but an ongoing journey. By continuously striving for wisdom and compassion, you become not only a better individual but also a positive force in your community. Remember, every small effort plants a seed that will eventually blossom into something extraordinary. The next section will explore the interplay between impermanence and serenity, showing how understanding change can lead to profound inner peace. Let me know if you'd like to proceed. Impermanence, known in Buddhist teachings as anicca, is one of the 3 fundamental marks of existence, alongside suffering and non-self. It emphasizes that everything in life is transient, nothing is fixed or permanent. Understanding impermanence is not meant to evoke fear but to encourage us to let go of attachments and approach life's inevitable changes with equanimity. The Buddha taught, as dewdrops on a lotus leaf, all things in life are fragile and fleeting. By understanding this, one ceases to suffer from loss and learns to cherish the present moment. Impermanence is the natural state of all phenomena. From a blooming flower that withers, to a child who grows into an adult. And even the changing seasons, every aspect of life is in a constant state of flux. The Buddha explained, all things that arise due to conditions will cease when those conditions change. This insight teaches us that clinging to anything, whether it be people, possessions, or even our emotions, inevitably leads to suffering. Why? Because we often resist the truth of impermanence and wish for things to stay unchanged. The suffering caused by impermanence does not arise from the change itself but from our refusal to accept it. When a loved one passes away, when wealth is lost, or when health deteriorates, we often react with grief or anger. The Buddha observed that suffering comes from the mind's attachment to the illusion of permanence. When we cling to the belief that things will remain the same, we set ourselves up for disappointment and heartache. By understanding and accepting impermanence, we can navigate life's transitions with greater peace. One of the greatest lessons of impermanence is the practice of letting go. Letting go doesn't mean giving up or avoiding responsibility. It means accepting that some things are beyond our control. The Buddha taught, "Do not dwell on what has passed, do not fret over what is to come. Live in the present, for that is where peace resides." Ask yourself, what are you holding on to that no longer serves you? Is it a past relationship, a bygone success, or an unfulfilled dream? When you let go, you create space for new experiences and growth. Serenity doesn't come from avoiding suffering but from learning how to face it without being overwhelmed. It is the calmness that arises from understanding that life is ever-changing and no single experience, whether joyful or painful, will last forever. The Buddha said, "The wise are not those who avoid hardship but those who remain serene in its midst." Serenity comes from accepting that everything is impermanent and choosing not to let external circumstances disturb your inner peace. Mindfulness is a powerful practice for understanding impermanence. By observing the world around you, you begin to notice the subtle changes that occur every moment, flowers blooming and fading, the sun rising and setting, or even the ebb and flow of your own breath. These realizations help you accept impermanence as a natural part of life. Expectations often lead to suffering because they are rooted in a desire for control. When you release the need for everything to go your way, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and disappointment. Meditation allows you to explore impermanence within yourself. Focus on your breath and observe how it flows, rising and falling, never the same in each moment. This practice deepens your awareness of life's transient nature. A king, often troubled by the highs and lows of life, sought advice from a monk. The monk gave the king a ring with an inscription, "This too shall pass." The king discovered that when he read the inscription in moments of both joy and sorrow, he could remain calm, knowing that all things, good or bad, are temporary. This story reminds us that impermanence is a constant. By embracing it, we learn to navigate life's ups and downs with grace. Understanding impermanence transforms how we experience life. Less suffering. By releasing attachments, we are no longer devastated by loss or change. Appreciation of the present, knowing that nothing lasts forever, encourages us to savor the beauty of each moment. Cultivating serenity, acceptance of impermanence allows us to face life's challenges with calmness and wisdom. Impermanence is not something to fear but a truth to embrace. It reminds us to live fully, appreciate what we have, and let go of what we cannot hold on to. By understanding that everything is fleeting, we free ourselves from unnecessary pain and open our hearts to the peace and joy of the present. In the next section, we will explore the role of wisdom and compassion, two essential values for transcending suffering and living a meaningful life. Let me know if you'd like to proceed. In Buddhist teachings, wisdom, prajna, and compassion, karuna, are two essential pillars that guide one toward enlightenment. These qualities, when cultivated together, create balance and harmony in life, enabling individuals to transcend suffering and live meaningfully. The Buddha emphasized, wisdom without compassion is like a bird with one wing, it cannot fly. To achieve inner peace and help others, we must nurture both qualities simultaneously. Wisdom in Buddhism is not merely intellectual knowledge but a deep understanding of the truth about life, particularly the principles of impermanence, suffering, and non-self. It is the ability to see things as they truly are, free from illusions and attachments. The Buddha taught, The wise see the world as it is, not as they wish it to be. Wisdom allows us to recognize the root causes of suffering and equips us with the tools to overcome it. It encourages us to act with clarity and make choices that lead to long-term happiness, rather than momentary gratification. How to cultivate wisdom. Mindful observation. Pay attention to your thoughts, actions, and surroundings. Observe how emotions arise and fade, and notice the impermanence of all things. Seek knowledge, read teachings, attend Dharma talks, and engage in discussions to deepen your understanding of Buddhist principles. Meditation. Regular meditation sharpens the mind, allowing you to perceive reality with greater clarity. Compassion is the heartfelt desire to alleviate the suffering of others. The Buddha described it as a boundless quality that extends to all beings, regardless of who they are. Compassion arises when we recognize the interconnectedness of all life and the shared experience of suffering. The Buddha said, "Just as a mother protects her only child with her life, so should we cultivate boundless love toward all beings." Compassion is not just an emotion but an action. It involves helping others, offering kindness, and creating a more harmonious world. How to cultivate compassion. Practice loving kindness. Begin each day by silently wishing happiness and peace for yourself, your loved ones, and even those who challenge you. Help others. Engage in acts of kindness, whether small or large, such as offering a smile, lending a hand, or donating to those in need. Empathy. Try to understand the struggles of others and offer support without judgment. Wisdom and compassion are inseparable in Buddhism. Wisdom without compassion can become cold and detached, while compassion without wisdom can lead to actions that are misguided or harmful. Together, they create a harmonious balance, guiding us to act with kindness while understanding the true nature of reality. Imagine someone who is drowning. A compassionate person might instinctively jump in to save them, but without wisdom, they could also put themselves in danger. A wise and compassionate person would first assess the situation to ensure their actions are effective and safe. Similarly, in life, wisdom ensures that our compassionate acts are meaningful and beneficial. One day, the Buddha saw a lotus pond. Some lotus flowers were still buried in the mud, some had risen to the water's surface, and others were blooming in the sunlight. The Buddha explained, "Human beings are like these lotuses. Some are trapped in ignorance, some are awakening, and some are fully blossomed. It is our role to offer compassion and guidance, regardless of where they are on their journey." This story illustrates the balance of wisdom and compassion, understanding where others are in their growth and offering help without judgment. Benefits of wisdom and compassion. Inner peace. Wisdom frees the mind from ignorance, and compassion fills the heart with joy. Improved relationships. Acting with understanding and kindness strengthens bonds with others. A meaningful life. Helping others and gaining clarity about life's truths bring a deep sense of purpose. Practical steps to develop wisdom and compassion. Daily reflection. Reflect on your actions and thoughts each day. Ask yourself, did I act with wisdom? Was I compassionate? Volunteer. Engage in community service or activities that benefit others. Practice gratitude. Recognize the kindness of others and express your appreciation. Meditate on interconnectedness. Visualize how all beings are interconnected and how your actions can impact the greater good. When wisdom and compassion become the foundation of your life, you will experience profound transformation. Challenges become opportunities for growth, and relationships are infused with kindness and understanding. By balancing these qualities, you not only improve your own well-being but also contribute to the happiness of others. As we conclude, let us reflect on the profound wisdom and compassion that the Buddha's teachings offer us. These teachings guide us to live a life filled with mindfulness, gratitude, and peace. Each moment is an opportunity to cultivate kindness, embrace simplicity, and walk the path toward inner serenity. The journey toward enlightenment is not a solitary one. Together, we can create a world filled with love, harmony, and understanding. Let us carry the light of compassion into our daily lives, inspiring ourselves and those around us. May your path be illuminated by the wisdom of the Buddha, and may you find lasting joy and tranquility. Thank you for joining us on this spiritual journey with Peace and Dharma.